Okay, so this is the entry window. Under name, I'll put my name, and Devin's, our CEO session code is RTSSC. It's not case sensitive, so I could have done it in lowercase as well. And now I'm just going to enter the session.
Hi, Ariel.
Hey, Devin, how are you?
I'm good. A little chilly, but at least it's sunny here today.
It is. It's sunny and beautiful. So for those of you on the line, I want to mention that, as Jenna said, we will not be able to do this in a facility, but we wanted to do, or at least show you something that was kind of true to life for audits and inspections. We know that some of the most important aspects of audit and inspections are, one, being able to see a process happening in place, two, being able to read logbooks, fine print, seeing body language, and being able to kind of take note of things that the auditee doesn't exactly know exactly what you're looking at. So the first thing I'm going to do is ask Devin to perform a procedure of setting up our Avatour kit.
Okay, well, I just happen to have one here, Ariel, so that works out very nicely. So this is what would typically be provided. Just as a reminder for the viewers, this is all off-the-shelf hardware. You can acquire it yourself from a number of different vendors, but we make it easier for our customers by putting all the pieces together in one bright orange box. So the first part of the procedure is to assemble this, the mount system. It's basically a sort of selfie stick with a tripod. This is our standard setup, which allows you to either carry the system around or place it down easily on a surface. This also extends, so it can even be placed on the floor. Then I will add the 360 camera.
Actually, Devin,
cameras from a couple of different.
As you're putting that on, would you mind just moving the camera that I'm viewing on closer to you? I want to see that process closer.
Sure thing. Just a second. It's a little wobbly at this table. No, that's not going to help. There we go. 1 second.
Thanks.
There we go. Is that a little better?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Okay. The next step then is to add the phone. So we work with most modern smartphones, both Android and iOS. We've been waiting for a while to get Apple's approval in the App Store, and that just happened about 2 weeks ago. So we're now live on the Apple App Store as well as the Google Play Store. And then you just connect this one cable from the phone to the camera, and you're ready to go. So that's the assembly procedure.
Awesome, thank you. And as you guys saw throughout the process, I wanted to get closer. I wanted to see him setting this up from a different angle. So I was able to speak with him directly, and he could move the camera and do that in just a couple seconds, as you would if you were in person. Now that I saw the procedure and I feel comfortable with that, I think I would like to, oh, I see that there's a manual here. I'd like to be able to read that, please.
Sure. So this is our quick start manual that comes along that allows you to get started very quickly with the kit. It's just a couple pages long. My hands are cold. Can you see that all right?
I can, but as I zoom in, it's a little blurry. Is there another way that I could read the fine print?
Of course. So for document capture, it's often useful to use a secondary camera. So the person on site can use a cell phone to add a second high resolution source to the 360 source. So you can still have the full access to 360, and then I can sort of zoom in here using the secondary camera to capture the document. Now, we understand that in a lot of cases, you're not allowed to record any images legally, sometimes, for example, for privacy reasons when you're reviewing health records or things like that. So this is a good way to review a record remotely without creating a permanent record of it.
Yeah, this is great, and I can read everything perfectly. Thank you. So something else I want to note here is I'm able to, he's totally hands-free, and the camera is incredibly stable. So I'm able to see Devin's body language throughout this entire process. If I was questioning him or asking him things along those lines, He's hands-free. It's like we're talking in person. And finally, I am able to look around the entire space in 360 just by clicking and dragging on my screen. So I can make note of different aspects of the space. Devin can see the direction of my head orientation, and he'll show you that from the host side, but he doesn't know exactly what I'm looking at, which is helpful for both auditors and auditees. Auditors, because you can still make note of things without being super direct about it, but at least the auditee can direct the conversation and the meeting throughout. And now I'm going to hand it over to Devin to show us the host side.
Sure, thanks, Ariel. So from the host side, there are a couple features that are worth mentioning that sort of help to accomplish the goals of a site meeting. So first of all, the most basic thing is that because we're using a 360 camera, we're able to do, set this back to standard frame rate, we're able to do a much better stabilization than you could do with a standard, mobile device. So if you've ever walked around with somebody who's carrying a mobile device, maybe for the tour of a house or something like that, you'll see that it's very hard to keep track of what the person's pointing at, especially as they move through space. Now, what we can do with a 360 camera is we stabilize the image against a fixed point in every roll direction. So you can't really see, but what I'm doing is now I'm spinning the camera around, and you'll notice that the view remains almost completely stable. That's because we're compensating for roll in all three axes. And that allows the remote users to really choose what they're looking at rather than being sort of dragged around by their eyeballs by the person holding the camera system. In addition to that, a lot of our customers will use VR headsets. We're big fans of the VR experience, certainly for things like operations research and architecture. It's really important to get that sense of the space. And there, Jen is showing you a VR headset right now. They're quite easy to use these days and relatively inexpensive, and it's a useful tool. But it is possible to get sick if there's too much motion. So we have a feature that allows us to control the motion and reduce it so that when the camera's in motion, we reduce the frame rate, and you can see it goes into a sort of a slideshow mode. And in our tests, we've discovered this almost eliminates motion sickness for the folks in headset. So this makes it possible to have headset users come along even as the camera moves throughout the space. A couple other features to mention on the host side. We do have access to session assets. So we can add a document into the screen, say a piece of marketing literature or a checklist. And we can even play back a video simultaneously that is synchronized for all viewers. So this video streams down from the cloud. And there we go. And we can all see it, we can all hear it, and speak to it. And you can use this often in a marketing context as well. So, and of course, I forgot to mention, the major feature here is that I can see everybody who's joined the session. So I see Ariel and Jenna both with their webcams. When we have them join with the headset, I will see them appear as avatars on my screen. So I can still see what they're looking at. I can see their gesture language, even though they're fully immersed. So with that, I think I will hand back to Ariel to demonstrate the VR experience.
Awesome, thanks, Devin. So I'll stop sharing my screen quickly as I get set up on my VR headset. Give me just one moment. There we go. Okay, so you should be able to see what is in my headset now. I'm going, ooh, my headset fell out. Okay, so I'm going to click on these dots and then go to the Avatour app. Yes, you can see my screen. And initially, it's going to bring us to a waiting room. Perfect. So this is the waiting room. I've already been in Devin's session before, so I already have it up and I can click directly into it. And we're going to join Devin back in his porch. Hi, Devin.
Hi, Ariel. Good to see you again.
You as well. So it's what I want to show you guys here is obviously this is a much more immersive experience. I really feel like I'm seeing things as if I'm sitting here with Devin in his backyard. One thing to note is with the VR goggles, you can either look around your space with your head, or you can use your controllers and you'll actually be able, you won't have to strain your neck to see the entire area. And I can see Jenna, I can see where Jenna's looking around. Because she shows up as a little TV with her webcam. If she were joining from a VR headset, then she would show up as an avatar. So I wouldn't be able to see her face, but an avatar and where it is looking. So a couple things I want to note in the headset that are really cool and very helpful for these types of meetings, any on-site meetings, is we have annotation tools. So I would just click this pen and put the red box. And let's see here. I think that this tree is great, Devin, but it's not in compliance. Not up to code. So I'm gonna note that as an action item, draw it directly on the screen, and then I'm gonna take a screenshot of it. And this screenshot now I can review in the meeting and pull up as an asset, or I can download it for later and we can review action items on the call with colleagues. And so those are the main aspects of the VR headset that I wanted to share with you guys. Thanks for having us, Devin.
Oh, thanks for coming. See you later, guys.
Bye. Cool.